Hello dear partners. As follows, you'll have a chance to take a look at our work. I hope you like it. We'll be looking forward to your comments. And Rafael Gonzalez, Helga Salazar, and myself have come up with this slideshow in order to let you know what our reflections are on this topic: technology assisted autonomous and lifelong learning. So, according to Smith, education is part of life. It is an endless process. We're always learning. Therefore, age doesn't matter. Each day in our lives is a continuous learning. We're changing through our experiences. According to Atchison, learning is a relative permanent change in behavior that results from practice. That's why we'll know it's very important to put into practice every single thing we learn from theory. Technology assisted autonomous lifelong learning as well as learning needs practice, motivation, and self-regulation. Learning purpose. What's the purpose of lifelong learning? Well, we have stated several purposes, and the very first one, I think, it's to earn more. Not only talking about money or position, but also capacities, skills, competences. So if you have the motivation to earn more in general, you'll have a purpose of lifelong learning. To become more interesting and charismatic, that would be a result of preparation and competence development. A person that knows a lot is an interesting and charismatic person. To become independent, as you're able to do things, you become a more independent person on decisions, on your job, on every single area of your life. To keep one's brain healthy, we all know studying gives a lot of health to the brain, so that's a good purpose as well. And to feel satisfied with life, which is, I think, the most important one. This satisfaction, the feeling of satisfaction that you have fulfilled expectations, that you have accomplished goals. I think that's something that doesn't have a price. As follows, we'll be talking about some of the characteristics learners must have, especially lifelong learners. A lifelong learner should change their idea of learning. That's the very first characteristic a learner that is into a lifelong learning must have. They must change their idea of learning. They must become autonomous learning. And that's what we mean when I say change the idea of learning, because a lot of people, they still have this idea of learning as someone teaching you something. But when you want to become a lifelong learner, you have to change that idea, and you have to become a self-learner. Nobody teaches you anything. You learn by yourself. A lifelong learner should foster a growth mindset. They should establish goals. They should find their sources. They should find a group. It's essential for anyone who's into lifelong learning to get into teamwork. We all know the advantages and the pedagogical implications of these practices, not only for teaching but also for learning. They should practice, and practice. They should teach what they're learning, and they should test themselves. The teacher's characteristics. A lifelong teacher, a teacher that's into lifelong teaching, is a teacher that teach adults at high school at night. This is pretty much the target population, according to the assignment, and we have to define a target population. And then our target population is a group of teachers They teach adults at a high school at night. The students' ages range from 20 to 65, thus it is evidenced that age does not matter for learning. However, the following teacher features are required, as I mentioned before. They should know the student's interest. They should give the learner a reason to learn, such as job satisfaction, self-esteem, and quality of life. They should always take the student's suggestions into account so that they can feel fulfilled with the progress. There should be a guide for the learner to become a self-directed learner. Thus, the teacher should help them to select the right path. That's pretty much, I think, the most important characteristic of a teacher who is teaching lifelong learners. He must become a guide. He must show the learners the right path. Method. Lifelong learning has there's a wide range of possibility of methods for lifelong learners and teachers that develop lifelong learning practices in their careers. Case studies, reflective activities, group projects, blended learning that call upon the experience of group members, and lab experiments are examples of the type of learning activities which will facilitate the use of learners' already acquired expertise. Learners can learn on their own pace and use the material in the appropriate way for them. Teachers have to facilitate the learning process, giving input and designing relevant topics for the learners. Pedagogical implications. The curriculum must be restructured so that students find greater coherence in what they're learning, as well as increased intellectual interaction with faculty and fellow students. Gabolnik. Recommendation. Keeping up the motivation level is crucial to create conditions that will facilitate learning among the students, especially when it comes to teamwork and other kinds of collaborative learning strategies such as forums, online meetings, debates, and presentations. And here, some references that we used to come up with these reflections. I hope you liked it. We'll be looking forward to your comments. And thanks for listening. Have a great time. Bye bye.